Here's a quick question for you. If your software can make decisions for your customers, should it? Or should it simply make them smarter? Well, you just hit play on 10-Minute Tech Talks, business insights and growth hacks for the time-crunched entrepreneur. And I am Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council and Tech Vibe Radio. And this clip from the Tech Council's Think AI Summit, you're going to hear why some of the most advanced AI leaders in healthcare believe technology should recommend, not rule. And why getting this wrong can cost you trust, adoption, possibly even the entire market. Tech Council CEO Audrey Russo interviewed Jonathan Jungk of Palantir and Chris Johnson of TeleTracking to get their insights. Let's listen in right now.
So when you say, Jonathan, when you say, AI powered, right? Where is AI making a decision versus a recommendation versus, automating overflow stuff? So give us some examples of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in healthcare, it's a little bit more it's sort of nuanced where you can actually make a decision versus where you're providing recommendations. Realistically, 99 times out of 100, you're making a recommendation to somebody to make an expert determination on. So what that looks like is, hey, we think this patient's ready to schedule, we think this patient's ready to be moved into a bed. We have a referral recommendation. I mentioned earlier, hey, there's an equivalent provider 1.2 miles from their house who could see them rather than their normal doctor who's been seeing them throughout their treatment. If that's the case, you want to be able to show that information to somebody who can ultimately make that decision. And usually that's the patient who's often involved in that decision and says, hey, I know you really want to see this provider, but if I could get you in a month sooner to see this provider, would that change your decision-making process? So usually we're not quite at the sort of mold bug Gemini versus Opus deciding what the hospital policies are yet. But we certainly are at a stage where you can sort of make those recommendations and make them more intelligently when to use AI.
And so, what is the, back to Chris, I'm thinking about just a human touch, right? Where did the human stay in the loop? And what guardrails and sort of escalation paths must exist or matter most in clinical operations management?
So, and shall go way back. I think there's, I forget who said it, AI will not replace you. That somebody who knows how to use AI well. Over time. But if you look at what is happening in our industry and what's happening in the healthcare industry, there's something that can never be replaced out there where robotics can. No offense to anybody in the robotics business here. Which is the pastoral care that a nurse laying hands on a patient can do. It cannot be replaced. It cannot be replaced by AI. It cannot be replaced
by a machine and robot?
I don't buy it. Maybe there's somebody in here that can tell me other ones, but I've seen and have experienced, and I'm personal life with close friends of mine, somebody that did not believe that they were going to make it to the night, and they probably won. Until that nurse came in and said, we will see a sunrise together, and I will hold your hand until the sun comes up. You're not going to replace that. So we want to free up the time, take the chaos that is in the culture operations today and convert it to the ability for the nurse to do that activity. Now, on the more specific technical aspect of it, if you look at our transfer centers and our operations centers, we were putting a tremendous amount of decisioning power onto our platform to really help elevate the types of people that you work in these centers have to be working at the top of we call it healthcare, working at the top of their license in order to do this at an A+ level. That is expensive, and that is oftentimes taking people that actually can do that. Lay hands on people and hold their hand. They do a lot more than that, but it's a really important part of it. An important part of healing and part of care. Freeing up those resources that they can do that well. And so you can have different levels of people. You can now allow the system to prove that it is providing intelligent decision-making capability, elevating the right information so they can make better decisions. Making decisions on their behalf, but not executing it without their say-so, right? And so when you think about where is the right person, where's the right place, what is the right bed to place this patient in this hospital, this et cetera, We have built the logic and the learning capabilities into the system, then it will tell you, this is where you have to. But then we will also show you everything that went into that decision so that that human could say, yes, I agree, yes, yes, I agree. I agree with that. And we're continuing to learn them. When they say they agree, system gets a little smarter. When they say they don't agree, system gets a little smarter as we go through it. Eventually we will get to a point pending to do that type of dispatch unaided by a human being. We're not there yet. And I don't think it's smart that we would do that point yet. I think we're building towards this. It's taken us 35 years to get where we are. But I will amazed at how far we've come in the last 8 months.
I mean, the more information like you're putting in here, the wiser it's getting. So I would imagine some sort of automation is going to appear within a pretty short period of time, right? For some of it repetitive.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be different levels of automation at all levels of it. There'll be some things that probably will be mostly automated, but basically what happens next, though, is we figure out, well, what's the next step of the problem that we wouldn't have been able to solve without the AI. You don't decrease your ambition because you all of a sudden can do what you were doing before with AI. I mean, when we think even like Palantir's fully aligned with the way that you think about this, but when we think about like the Palantir engineer, the college new grad who just showed up with their software engineering experience that's not useful now that AI can do most of the coding that they could do before. We don't ask like, do we need this person? We ask like, can this person do 10x what we thought they could do yesterday? And that's the way we're thinking about these problems, and that's the way we're thinking about nurses and operators and our end users as well.
Great. Chris, we talked about you staying in the loop. Can you do like sort of just case study and talk about like what with the before and after story, like what about the bottleneck? Take whatever you want, whether it's that availability, efficiency, transfers. Can you give us that? What changed operationally?
What's changed operationally? So there's so many devices. I'll give you a great example. ALOS, average length of stay, which is an important key metric that a lot of our healthcare clients are very interested in. So they would mainly the length of stay of patients, meaning they can move them out, but they're medically ready and ambulatory and able to move out. And that is made up of a series of hundreds of thousands of decisions from the point that they enter into the care continuum from that. So as we have been able to, because there's not one silver bullet that changes. There's another AI button that you flip, having the technically on the floor, new platform, but an AI button that you flip, it drops, and then you say, okay, this fixed everything. It actually is fixing things at the individual steps along the way. And that is the power of the combination of TeleTracking's 35 years working from the basement up to the boardroom, understanding an extraordinarily deep and detailed the domain knowledge of what biggest things do in a healthcare system, combined with the power of the Palantir platform.
That's a powerful reminder for anyone building technology today. The goal isn't to replace human judgment, it is to elevate it. If your product makes users feel smarter, safer, and more confident, you win. If it makes them feel replaced, yep, you lose. That's the number one lesson right here. Hey, I hope you keep on listening to 10-Minute Tech Talks. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.